So in the last tutorial, we studied about the property editor class, custom property editor class in the Spring MVC application. That is how we can write the custom property editor classes and then register it with the web data binder. We also had some default inbuilt Spring MVC editor classes that was also registered with my web data binder. Like here we did the registration. Now let's say a requirement comes where we need to validate the form elements, that is form validation needs to be performed. Let's run the application and see how my form look likes. Okay, so this is my form. Now here say I'm entering a value Ravi. I click on submit the form and I get the data which is being submitted by the user. But now I want to validate the student name. The student name length should be minimum of 5 and maximum of 10 characters. Then we need to write the validation logic in my application. Similarly, say I want the mobile number to be maximum of 10 digits only, not more than that. Otherwise here I can enter as many values I want to. I will just submit it, and even in the length, if I want, say I am entering the complete name, sometimes people have name, so I'll just submit, I'll get the data. But no, I don't want this should happen. I want the validation to be performed, that mobile number length should be 10 digits and this should be minimum of 5 or maximum of this. So to do all this form validation, we have the feature in Spring MVC, that is the annotations. We have some Spring MVC form validation annotations which will be performing this validation task. So let's discuss about that Spring MVC form validation annotations. But before using the Spring MVC form validation annotation, we need to have a library in my application. The library which has implemented the GSR 303 or 349 specifications. So we'll be using here Hibernate library, Hibernate validator library, which has implemented those specifications. So you can download it. I'll just give you the link. You have this Hibernate validator downloads. So here you can just click on stable and you'll be able to download the validators. So I've already downloaded it. I'll just show you. So from here in distribution, you have this Hibernate validator jar, and in lib folder you have some required jars which need to be added. So just copy these jars. Along with this, you need to copy the one more jar, that is Hibernate validator jar, and then just put it in your lib folder. I have done it already. Hibernate validator jar, Java jar, JBox, classmate. So all these jars you need to put it in this. Then only you'll be able to use a Spring MVC form validation annotations. Otherwise you'll get an error. Okay, so let's use the annotations now. So in my bean class, say I want to perform a check on student name. I wanted that the size should be minimum of 5, maximum of 10. So I'll just use size annotation over here with the minimum value and the maximum value. You need to import this validation constraints jar which you have just saved. Okay, so this is just the validation logic to do it. No need to write a complete logic like we write in core Java. Just use @size annotation with the min and the max value. Now, but along with this, you also need to make change in the training form application, that is your request handler method. What modification you need to do is, you need to tell Spring MVC that when you are performing the data binding for this bean class, take care of all the annotations which are used inside it, because otherwise how will Spring get to know that I need to take care of this annotation? So for that I need to write along with this data binding model attribute annotation one more annotation, that is valid annotation. So let's import this valid annotation also. What this valid annotation is doing, it is just telling the Spring MVC, then when you're performing the data binding for the student bean class, just take care of the annotations used inside it, that is size annotation or any other annotation which you'll be using further, and then perform the data binding. And if there is any mismatch or error, then just show me the error message. Fine. So these are the only two changes which you need to do. First, import all the libraries of Hibernate validator library. All the jars should be imported. Use the size annotation in the bean class and the valid annotation where you're performing the data binding, just to tell Spring MVC that take care of the annotations. Okay, let's run it and see if it performs validation or not. I give either for the name, the minimum should be 5, maximum should be 10. So let me give a 4. It should show an error. Here I will not use any. It's okay when we visit. So here I am using only the 4 characters. Let's see if it submits or not. No, it is not able to process the form. Why? Because the name is not between the 5 and 10. You need to provide it between 5. Now I have provided the 5, that is a minimum value, so it will be able to process the application. Clear? So this is how the form validation annotations work. Now let's